guys! Welcome to day 3 of this challenge. So, as I said in video 2, we're going to be talking about food today. Woohoo! First and foremost, as a reminder, if you have not watched day 2's video, please go back and look at it, even day 1. All of it will be in the archive page. The link is in your email and the password is clear as skin. So let's get right down to it today. So remember Jane's choice of food when she was working on her deadline? It was pizza, cheese, she has a dairy intolerance, and alcohol, right? And also a lot of sugary snacks. And then she ended up breaking out at the end of the week. And we want to know why. We want to know why these foods are inflammatory for her. So recap. Inflammation from the within, inside, from the gut, and the hormones can affect the skin on the outside. Okay, skin is a reflection of whatever that's happening on the inside. So let's think about this. Like, of these food choices, why are they inflammatory? The first one is dairy. Dairy tends to have this thing called IGF factor 1, and it's an insulin growth factor, and it comes from the A1 cows that are grown here in the States. Now I know some of you are not from the States, but also if you do have a sensitivity to dairy, or you have some kind of skin problems like acne or sinus congestion or anything like that, I do want to let you know to keep in mind, maybe swapping out the dairy for something else like a non-dairy alternative. Or if you really want some dairy in your life, you could also opt for cheese. For goat options. Those tend to work well in some people. So anyway, so dairy sensitivities, IGF-1, the molecule in dairy, can really worsen acne inflammation. And this has been shown in studies and also in medical studies. I just want to say that one of my clients, she did have acne, and she had constant flare-ups, and when working with her, she got off her dairy completely, right? She swapped out to like walnut milk, some kind of non-dairy option, so at least obviously she can make her matcha lattes. And it's a great option, because with all the other therapies that we did, including like incorporating more fruit and vegetable in her diet, her skin completely cleared up and she no longer has like very severe flare-ups. And so dairy is actually a root cause of a lot of acne formation or a worsening of skin inflammation. The second thing I want to talk about is processed food. So I'm sure you already know this. Processed food, refined sugars. Do bear in mind that sugars have a lot of names for it. I can give you a link to the list, but there are a lot of names for it, and try to go for whole foods as much as possible. If you're craving sweets, try to have some kind of fruit instead. Some fruits are high in fructose, like kiwi or grapes, but they tend to have other nutrients or flavonoids in them that act as antioxidants for your body, unlike refined sugars that will only contribute to insulin resistance. A word here, so we're talking about sweets and processed food and trans fat and all that, and that can actually lead to an increase in insulin. And if you recall day 1, increase in insulin can lead to an increase in testosterone, which leads to an increase in DHT, which is the most androgenic hormone that stimulates excessive oil production in your glands, and this is why you can get acne. What else? So the last thing here I want to talk about is alcohol. So Jane, she loves her alcohol. Right before bed. No judgment, just to chill. But I want to say that alcohol is actually a really big toxin on the body. I'm sorry to say, it is true. No matter, how much you drink or how little, it's going to have an effect. And so alcohol it gets broken down in the liver, and the liver is where all these toxins and everything, excess hormones, get broken down anyway. So if you're on top of everything that is already working to break down, the liver also has like a shit ton of alcohol coming in. It's gonna be like, oh, my workload is so much. And so what this means is that the alcohol will deplete nutrients that are needed otherwise to perform metabolic functions of the body. So your liver, you only have a certain amount of nutrients. And face it, a lot of us, we might not have enough nutrients coming in from our diet anyway. So if you don't have enough nutrients in the first place, you have such a small, scarce amount to use, the liver's gonna try to use that and all the enzymes to break down the alcohol, and then it's not going to have enough to break down anything else, like excess estrogen, for example, and that will contribute to PMS. It cannot break down like all the other things in your food, like processed food and refined sugars, right? And so this is why it's really important to think about, okay, alcohol depletes nutrients in my liver. It contributes to weight gain. It has a lot more calories per gram. And so you really want to, think about it. I know it's a socializing thing. I know a lot of people, they adopt this, but just think about it. If you really want to improve your health, what are the pros and cons? I'm just giving you the side effect of alcohol on your body and how it can worsen skin. It can also dehydrate the skin. So just have a little think about that. So these are the 3 categories we talked about, right? Like dairy, food sensitivities. Again, food sensitivities are usually like invaders causing wear and tear on your gut lining. And remember that whole gut lining being torn apart is going to increase inflammation. It's going to send your immune system on alert. It's going to just worsen the whole inflammation cascade. That's dairy, and then you have all these processed sugars and processed foods, and you also have I'm losing my train of thought here. What else? Oh, you have the alcohol. So the alcohol has that effect on the liver. And so we really want to, bear it in mind. Whatever you eat really affects your skin because it also affects your hormones, it also affects your gut, it affects the immune system. Obviously, there are many other systems that are affected, but these are the 3 main ones when it comes to skin health. So today's topic is I want you to think about which inflammatory food you are going to commit to avoid for the next 3 weeks. Comment in the Facebook group because that is the surefire way to get you accountable to your goal. And think about which anti-inflammatory food that you want to replace. So for example, someone like you, maybe you could avoid dairy for 3 weeks and see what it's like. I know some of you are interested in doing a gluten-free, dairy-free kind of diet. This is the perfect chance to do so. Pick either gluten or dairy. I would say dairy would be a better bet. So pick one, stick to avoiding it for 3 weeks, and choose something else to replace it. So for example, anti-inflammatory foods include berries, cruciferous vegetables, all sorts of fruits, garlic, onions. You can think about herbs like cilantro or parsley. And if you think about it, anti-inflammatory foods have to be antioxidants because whatever the liver does not break down properly, it causes oxidative stress, and you want antioxidants here to prevent that from spreading or to prevent that from worsening. And so other spices are the top like antioxidant foods if you don't already know that. So just think about adding like cardamom, all the spices. You can't really go wrong. Even cinnamon's great to regulate the blood sugar. So just think about which foods you want to avoid and what you want to try to substitute it with, and have it play out in the next 3 weeks. And as usual, today I will be going on Facebook later to do a live about anti-inflammatory foods. I'm going to be sharing some examples and also how Jane could, when she broke out, how she could spend the next week or so trying to improve her diet, try to get reset and all that. And that's all for today. So that's what you need to eat for skin health. Remember, it's always tied to inflammation in your gut or a disruption in your hormones. And if you eat right for your gut and your hormones, then you will lessen the risk of inflammation in your skin. It's that simple. And I'll see you tomorrow.